Sir Lawley's Ghost. Asha Nehemiah writes children's stories that have elements of humor and suspense. Rustam, the prefect means the monitor, was always putting up dramatic acts to playfully frighten the boys in the dormitory. Arjun, the new boy in the boarding school, did not believe in ghosts. Rustam plotted to frighten Arjun. Did he succeed? Let's see in the chapter. Laurie's boarding school had two types of residents, boys and ghosts. Not surprising, considering that this 150-year-old school had all the features that made it a paradise for ghosts. Paradise for ghosts means an ideal place for ghosts to live. The dormitories means large rooms with number of beds. So the dormitories were dingy means dark and full of eerie shadows. The campus grounds were thickly wooded. What made lollies most appealing from a ghost point of view, that is, was the choice of 500 boys who could be frightened at any time of the day or night. So 500 boys used to stay in that boarding school. That's why when Arjun, a skinny 12-year-old, joined the school and scornfully declared, "I don't believe in ghosts," the entire school thought that he was quite crazy. Surely, you don't expect me to believe these silly stories about headless ghosts or this ridiculous tale about the invisible ghost which walks around with a pillow. Sir Lawley, after whom the school was named, had once lived in the enormous mansion which has been converted into a boarding school after his tragic death. So earlier this boarding school was Sir Lawley's enormous mansion. He had been murdered here by a greedy cousin. Since then, his ghost was said to roam the campus carrying a blood-stained pillow. "How can I possibly believe such nonsense?" Arjun continued. "I wouldn't say such things if I were you," Arjun warned a solemn voice. Solemn means a serious voice. It was Rustam, the prefect in charge of the dorm. "Haven't you heard?" Rustam went on in a sinister whisper. Sinister means strange and means evil and frightening whisper. That when ghosts hear you say that you don't believe in them, they consider it an invitation, almost a challenge to show themselves to you. I wouldn't be surprised if Sir Lawley's ghost decided to teach you a lesson by appearing in front of you one of these days. Rustam grinned gleefully in the dark. Grin means he was smiling. He was already busy planning how he would arrange for Sir Lawley's ghost to visit Arjun. He decided to use his own pillow and managed to get hold of a long handled broom, the kind used to clean cobwebs. In order to make the broom invisible in the dark, he smeared the bamboo handle with ash from the log fire in the school kitchen. When no one was around, he practiced how the pillow, which was supposed to belong to the ghost, would appear to float into the dormitory by being attached to the broomstick. He let the other boys into the secret and instructed them how to behave when the ghostly pillow made its dramatic entry into the dormitory. So all the Rustam and all the boys made this plan to scare Arjun. So on the night of ghostly visit, on the night of ghostly visit means on the night when they were actually planning to perform the act. Rustam woke up with a start and realized he had overslept. He had overslept means he had planned to start early but he had overslept. He felt under his bed. Yes, the pillow he had prepared was there and it was still dark. He was about to tiptoe out of bed when a familiar grating sound warned him that the dormitory door was being opened. Was it the housemaster? Whom did the soft footsteps belong to? Now, when he was getting out of his bed to scare Arjun and all the plot which he has created to execute it, he was frightened by a ghost. That was not actually a ghost, we will see in the story further, but he was frightened. Okay, so when he discovered the cause of the footsteps, icy prickles of fear crept down his spine. Icy prickles of fear means he was so scared. So, for advancing slowly into the dormitory was a blood-stained pillow. Holding it was a hideous pair of ghostly white hands, made more terrifying by the fact that they weren't attached to any figure. So, he was only able to see the ghostly white hands floating in the air with a blood-stained pillow. Hideous pair of ghostly white hands means hideous means extremely ugly. Rustam's blood turned cold. Am I actually seeing a ghost? He wondered. Ghost? Fear had turned Rustam's voice into a feeble squeak. There is a ghost. Feeble squeak means now he was not able to speak loudly and clearly. He tried again, and this time a few sleepy heads stirred awake. Seeing the bloody pillow, the boys assumed Rustam's plan was working. Now, the boys weren't aware that Rustam is not executing his plan, and they even didn't notice that Rustam is sitting on his bed and not doing anything. So they were all enjoying. They thought that Rustam is executing his plan. Some of them even giggled. Giggle means smiled. There was so much confusion. No one noticed that Rustam was sitting rigid and horror struck on his bed, instead of being outside the dormitory steering the pillow with a long broomstick. Steering the pillow, guiding the movement of the pillow. The screams continued for a long time, even after the pillow had retreated from the dormitory. Retreated means moved away. That was when the boys finally turned their attention to Arjun. His eyes had turned saucer shaped with horror. As for Rustam, they felt his acting was simply superb. He actually had goosebumps on his arms and his teeth didn't stop chattering till the next morning. Chattering means shivering. How were they to know that the prefect wasn't acting and this fear was totally genuine? Poor Rustam. He was haunted by the memory of the dreadful vision he had seen. That spooky pair of hands, he shivered at the thought. Some days later, Rustam went to the kit room where all the washed clothes and uniforms were stored. As he was picking up a clean shirt, he overheard the matron scolding the school's washerman for not washing the clothes properly. Washerman is dhobi. There are muddy streaks on these sheets and this pillowcase has huge stains on it, the matron complained. What can I do, madam? The dhobi defended his washing. That pillowcase had huge patches of red ink on it. You know how difficult it is to wash off red ink? Red ink on a pillowcase? Rustam froze. Was this the pillowcase that had been bloodied with red ink to become the ghostly pillow? Every student at Lawley's was expected to mark his name on all items of the clothing, so it wouldn't be difficult to trace the pillowcase's owner. The matron seemed to have the same idea, for she snatched the pillowcase from the washerman and examined it. Arjun, she exclaimed angrily, seeing the new boy's name marked on the pillowcase. This boy is getting worse and worse. Last week there was a complaint that he had taken a pair of white gloves from the band room and stuffed them with clay from the sculpture room. The clay had dried in the gloves to make it look like a pair of white hands. Suddenly she noticed the prefect standing there. Prefect Rustam, absolutely still and pale faced, and asked, "What's the matter, Rustam? You look like you have seen a ghost." Rustam was actually having some very unprefect like thoughts. That cheeky rascal Arjun, but he only shook his head as he mumbled, "Seen a ghost? Oh no, ma'am. In fact, I'm very glad I haven't." Now, today, when Rustam came to know that he hasn't actually seen a ghost, it was Arjun that was executing his plan to scare Rustam. Okay, so now he was satisfied that thank God I have not seen a ghost in reality. It was Arjun. And in the end, I would say you can relate it tit for tat, as Rustam was planning to scare Arjun. At the same time, Arjun was planning to scare Rustam. But whose plan succeeded? Arjun's plan succeeded. This story is written by Asha Nehemiah. I hope you have enjoyed the story. Thank you.